Hi there everyone. Today is Monday the 21st of December. Welcome to winter, folks. Today is the winter solstice. A lot has gone on in the past week, and unemployment, there was another 1.3 million people when you consider the self-employed that were over 400,000 along with 885,000. Unbelievable. Merry Christmas to those people. I know what it's like to lose their jobs. I know what it's like to lose a career and your livelihood. It's really challenging, especially during these times. We have a new mutation of the coronavirus in the UK. How are we going to prevent it from coming to America? A lot has gone on. Hey, listen, Congress finally got their shit together, and they put together a measly $600 stimulus check for every American. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not every American. They forgot all the adult dependents. So if you are a college student or you're an elderly person living with someone, well, they don't get the $600. Merry Christmas and F you. That's what the government's saying. You know, you ask Mnuchin, what is it like to, what's the feeling that you're giving $600 to the American people right before Christmas and Congress finally passed a bill? And he says it's a great injection into the economy. He doesn't give a crap about people. Most of them in Congress don't give a crap. The average person is in debt over $6,000 in back rent and utilities. $6,000. The CARES Act expired pretty much, at the end of June? Maybe mid-July? And until then, these people have been on their own. 1 million people lose their jobs every week for the past 9 months. How in the world is $600 going to save anyone? Now listen, I understand that printing all this money got us into this mess, and printing all this money, or the money creation, is not going to get us out of this mess. And by them extending unemployment for 11 weeks and giving Americans $600 is just kicking the can down the road. How in the world are we going to survive this? Folks, there's a lot of shit going on in the world. And you just got to open your eyes. The United States has created 3 times the amount of money this year than we have in the past years. Our inflation rate is huge. The dollar is lost like 30% of its value. You look at the stock market. It's asset inflation, folks. The dollar is worth only 65% of what it used to be. So naturally, if the dollar's down 30% and the stock market's up 30%, that is asset inflation. Listen, the Fed owns 40% of all mortgage-backed securities. They own the houses that you live in. That is the only thing propping up the housing market. You take that Fed injection away, what's going to happen to the housing market? Also, they have more rounds of PPP loans, and corporate buybacks are allowed now for banks. That's just going to inflate the stock market. It's not real. I don't think anyone in Congress really knows how to unravel what we've caused over the past 50 years. It's 50 years, folks. 1971. The year 2021 is not far away. 50 years of creating money we don't have. I was reading an article the other day talking about gold. And most of the gold is held in the United States at the Fed and also in the UK, in London. A lot of countries have bought gold, and it's held in one of these gigantic underground vaults. And there's some speculation that we've even sold gold that we don't own. So if Peru or Argentina or Czechoslovakia or Poland or any country in the world who wants their physical gold, there wouldn't be enough to deliver it. So not only did we QE our fiat currency. There's speculation that we created gold out of nothing. We sold stuff we don't have. Listen, inflation is skyrocketing. The Fed is lying to us when they tell us that there's no inflation or very little inflation. And the reason why they manipulate those numbers as well is so they don't have to increase the unsecured liabilities that the federal government has, like Social Security or disability. They are lying to our face, just like we know the unemployment rate is not 6.7%. The unemployment rate is like 30%. But their convoluted way of figuring out these things is all wrong. I'm not blaming the people that work for the federal government that do all these statistics. They just have a calculator and a method that's antiquated and out of date. It is not real. This is not going to end well, folks. I mean, Bitcoin is soaring, and I think that, with its limited amount of creation, it's going to be one asset to have and to hold. Gold is going to be cumbersome. You can't send it around the world. You can't pay for things with it. Bitcoin, I believe, is going to be the asset to hold. I'm not saying don't buy gold and don't buy silver. It's always good to diversify your assets. But this, folks, I mean, come on. Think about where we are at and how we got here. It's been 50 years of irresponsible spending. This is not a I want it now so I should have it now economy anymore. We're going to turn the clocks back. In the roaring 20s, people were dancing and investing in the stock market, and the government was lying to people then. Then the 1930s came. The same thing's going to happen again. I don't know how it's going to end, but I know it's not going to be pretty. It's either going to be the dollar disintegrating and being used as wallpaper. It's going to be more jobs and more death. And listen, when people lose their jobs, they lose their sanity. When people have nowhere to live or they lost everything that they own, it doesn't end well. COVID is killing people, but people will be killing people. People will be killing themselves. People who never thought that they would have a problem because they have a great work ethic, they've had a great business, they have a great education, they have everything in life that they wanted. And through no fault of their own, the world went upside down. There are millions of people in line for food banks across the country. And some people might argue, oh yes, the government shut everything down, so that's why everything's bad. No, that's not why everything's bad. It's because there's a pandemic going on. Have you been out? It's Christmas time. Shopping centers are dead. Small businesses are not thriving. And what happens after Christmas? What happens in January to malls and stores who are just clinging on to the hopes that they can make it this Christmas season? I know I sell things online. I know our sales have been down probably 75%. $600, folks. They expect it to spur the economy. It's not going to spur anything. Going to be lucky if people can pay a couple of months' electric bill. Or maybe a few months of their heat. Hunker down, folks. Be grateful for where you're at. And if you need help, I wouldn't look to the federal government for it. I'd look to friends and family now. If you have an apartment and you can't afford it, move in with friends. Move in with family. I know it's not easy, and I'm not saying it's forever. But limit the debt. You limit your debt now, you'll be ahead later. All right, folks. I will come on one more time before Christmas. I promise. I hope you're well. I thank you for watching. Keep the faith, and I'll talk again soon.